DJ Leroy.
Night Watchman, how you doing, buddy?
I'm well. How are you?
Not bad, not bad. Oh, so you know what? You notice that I have a long sleeve shirt on, right? With of course, what I say there? Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready. Because it's getting a little chilly out there.
A little.
Like what the hell happened? It seems so quick.
Right.
And because of that, Night Watchman, sometimes I need, as they say, a hot toddy, or let's say some brown elixir to like work in there. Get the cobwebs out.
That's the narrative we're going with. Okay.
And I'm sticking by that. Now, what do you have?
Warms
another
the soul. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
What else? What else?
Right.
So Night Watchman, you know, one of the people that put the bug in the air about this particular show is woman. I think we should bring her up. I think we're going to call her for this episode. Let's call her Audrey Wealth. Okay.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Good morning.
Miss Wealth, how are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So something about that. Now, remember, we talked about spirits before. Now, in North Carolina, I understand that you have a daughter who's in a different type of spirit. Do they even call beer a spirit? I'm just curious.
I wouldn't call it a spirit, but she's she's in the industry. She used to work for one of the largest brewers in the state of North Carolina. She's since moved on, and now she's more into curating festivals and events for the city of Durham, North Carolina.
Oh, Durham, absolutely.
Yeah,
okay.
So she's using her skills and her connections, building that as part of her brand.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, please tell her we miss her on Soul Lounge Primetime, okay?
I will let her know.
Thank you, thank you. So, Night Watchman, I think that now, so we're talking now spirits, we got to bring them up. We got to conjure them, okay?
Conjuring the spirits, okay.
Exactly. You know what? Why don't we bring out, I like her energy. She gets in there, she goes hard in the paint, as they say. It could only be Kawanna Pleasant, a.k.a. KP. Yes. Ooh. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you so much, you guys, for having me on. I'm great.
All right. Very good. And I did notice that you were kind of guarded in that response based on, you know, what we were talking about the last time, right?
I was a little surprised that it was me. It was me up that you were warming it up. That was I'm like, oh, me?
Yes.
Hey.
Yes, you. Yes, indeed. And you know what? Night Watchman, another one. I met this brother a little while back, you know, and I definitely did like, you know, the brand. And that could only be my man, Jason Armstrong, Den of Thieves. Bring him out. Jason! What's up,
man? How you
doing,
guys? Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to finally be on here. I know we've been dancing around for a lot, so thank you for having me, guys.
Absolutely. And Night Watchman, you know what? Our final guest is certainly someone I got to give her major props, and she knows this. She was able to pivot on a dime and join us, and that could only be Sharene Woods. Hey, Shay, how you doing?
Hello. I'm so proud to be here.
We are proud to have you, so thank you. Yes. Okay, so Night Watchman, would you like to start getting popping? Would you have an open salvo or what?
Yeah. Who are we starting with? Okay, so let's see. So Shay has not been here before, but Harlem Haberdashery has been here before.
Yes, they have. Yes, with Lewis.
And so Jason and Kawanna are here for the first time. We're going to let ladies go first. So KP, tell us a little bit about your journey into the spirits industry and what you're doing right now, and tell us about your brand.
Oh, I would love to. Okay, well, first off, good morning again to everyone. My name is Kawanna Pleasant, affectionately called KP since I've been about 12 or 13 years old. I am a Harlem native, born in Harlem Hospital, went to elementary, junior high school in Harlem, and I actually still live in Harlem and are raising my children in Harlem as well.
Congrats.
Thank you so much. So
sorry, guys, I can't hear. I'm going to try to sign in and sign back out because my sound is not working.
No worries. Could do that. All right. We'll see you in a sec, Jason. Go ahead. Sorry, KB. Go.
No, it's fine. So I finished high school when I was 16 and a half. I had a baby. So I finished school at 16 with my son in my arm. And straight from there, that following April, I went immediately to college. So by the time I was 19, I had finished college for the first time already. And when you get out there, they make you believe that there's these really big opportunities for these high paying jobs, and it's not. So you start off entry level, and I ended up having to take a second job to pay off my student loans and to be able to survive. So I got a job working at a neighborhood bar, and I realized I was in the wrong line of business. Not only was it a lot more freedom, a lot more social, you're not micromanaged, but the tips were a lot more than I would make at a normal job in a 9 to 5. So I started to bartend and do bottle service. I worked in all of the poppin' spots in Harlem, back and forth to Miami. And I did that for about 10 years straight until I ended up meeting a really good friend that got me into the sales part of it. So I went from bartending to bar manager, from bar manager to restaurant manager, and then ending up becoming into the sales force for alcohol. So I did that for several years, and I would sell so many cases for other companies. I started to feel like, well, if I could do this for someone else's brand, maybe I could do it for myself. Now, where I'm from, I really don't know anyone that's ventured out to dream a dream this big. So, of course, to most people around me, it sounded impossible, right? But I was determined to figure it out and to learn the business. So I've spent the last 2 years working on all my licensing, all the information that I would need. I own 100% of my company. I've been able to fund myself. And it's just been a beautiful process. Has it been rough? Has it been a lot of nights up worrying and researching and waiting for accreditation? Absolutely. But at the end, I'm able to show a real product and be an example for the Black community, be an example for other women, that we don't just have to stay working for someone else.
Yes.
That you can dream big and you can dream bigger. And I'm working on generational wealth for myself and for my children. I want my children to be able to have kids and their kids grow up already wealthy with the company to roll into. So far, I've brought out my first one, which is the brand is called PurFix.
Oh, okay.
And the reason I came up with the name PurFix is because it's a combination of the word perfect and fix together. So it's meant to be the perfect fix. It is gluten-free. It's vegan. It's made with 10% alcohol. It doesn't have any added dyes, no high fructose syrups, no added colors. It's beautiful and it's perfect. And it's been doing extremely well. And I'm looking forward to it being in everyone's hands.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. That's what I'm talking about. Now, okay. Now, Sharene, yes. I'm often thinking about you. Now, when we talk about entrepreneurs, I saw how many brands you got. Okay, that's one, right? But also, I think of you, your husband, I think of fashion. Yes. But you've expanded way beyond that. So HH Bespoke Spirits, do tell that journey.
So originally, I always like to call myself a serial entrepreneur. First brand is, of course, 5001 Flavors. Started in 1992 with my then boyfriend, now husband. It is a custom clothing company. We work with the artists, entertainers, the who's who in the industry for the last 33 years. We're proud to have been in business since I was in college at Columbia. It's still in existence. So we dress everyone. Red carpet, videos, tours, awards. We parlayed Harlem haberdashery. We parlayed into Harlem haberdashery from 5001 because we wanted to work with people who are not just celebrities, but from all walks of life. So we have that fashion input. We always positioned ourselves as a lifestyle brand. So we knew that at the same celebratory events where our clothes were worn, there are spirits, there's partying, there's all other professionals.
Yes.
Essentially parlayed Harlem haberdashery into HH Bespoke Spirits. It's a curated line of beverages. We have a rum, a gin, and a vodka. And our goal really was to treat our spirits like a client. So we have 3 separate spirits, and they have their own personality. Every a spirit is dressed differently. Our vodka has one background. The rum has beautiful rose background, and our gin has pinstriped. And so we literally dress our spirits. So for the goal, really for us to integrate anything that's bespoke, customized, unique, something that has a bold statement in it. And so Harlem Haberdashery bleeding into HH Bespoke Spirit was quite streamlined for us.
Beautiful, beautiful. And Audrey, now you lit us up by first bringing this brother on deck at one of the galas, and you know who I'm talking about. So what question do you have for Jason?
I would like to know what was his inspiration with his flavors, the whole inspiration behind Den of Thieves. And maybe give us a little on how you came up with the name Den of Thieves.
So I get the hot take. Okay. The medium-sized story is I actually started in this industry as a wine importer. So I lived in Italy for about 5 years.
Wow.
And this was kind of one of those things where they say necessity is the mother of need is the mother of necessity, because I was going back and forth, made a couple of promises to some very important people, being my kids. And so I started importing wine so I can make going back and forth to Italy to see them worth it, or financially worth it. During that time is when I kind of cut my teeth, because I've been doing in the spirit industry for about 10 years. I started off as a bartender, bar manager, doing that, and just really decided that I had a passion for it. While I was importing, I realized how much work it is to actually grow a brand. Like, as other people in here can tell you, this is not for the faint of heart. It's not for the weak. People may, see like, oh my God, you have a brand, that's so cool. And I'm like, no, there's plenty of nights where I lay up in bed like I must be crazy to do this. So I realized I didn't want to import anymore, but I love the spirit industry. So on a trip down to Tennessee me and a couple of my friends were going through the whiskey trail. I don't know if you guys ever been through the whiskey trail.
No, not yet. No.
So you can hit all the distilleries, White Rose, or like that. And they were like, Jay, you should do a whiskey. And I was like, I'm kind of the Mikey in my group. And I was like, I should do a whiskey. And I, on top of that, I'm a cigar smoker. So what's the one thing that you do when you smoke cigars?
Some whiskey, bourbon. You got
whiskey, it. Right? So I went about, there's a lot of whiskey out there, a lot of bourbon, but I wanted something, that selfishly I can enjoy smoking with my cigars, and B, would be a point of differentiation, what makes us different. So our infused spirits, our vanilla, ginger, and our chocolate are what really makes Den of Thieves stand out. Chocolate was just kind of natural because I love chocolate. The flavor profile goes beautifully with a lot of the cigars I like to smoke. So that was kind of natural. The vanilla ginger was kind of, it was, to be honest, like divine intervention. It was a bolt out of the blue. I just like, okay, I like vanilla, but there was kind of something missing, and the ginger just was the perfect complement. The name. So the name comes from 3 different places. You didn't
take it from that film, did you? I'm just checking. Okay.
Actually, we came out before the film.
Ooh,
we were first. So, but the name kind of comes from honoring where I grew up. I grew up in Brooklyn and Bed-Stuy in the 80s and the 90s. So if anybody, there you go. So if anybody knows what Brooklyn, Harlem was like in the 80s and the 90s, it was rough. It was rough, and your neighborhood was one of the things that kept you safe.
Yes.
And this is not to glorify anything. Like I said, I grew up a nerd. My mother worked midnights, and it was the criminal element that made sure that my mother got from the train station to our doorstep every night.
Nice.
It was the quote unquote unsavory people, the thieves that were like, nah, shorty, you're not about that life. Go to school. I couldn't
Wow.
sell drugs if I wanted to. They was like, nah, not you. Your mom will come out here and kick all of our butts. So you go to school. So that honor among thieves was kind of a code that our neighborhood lived by. Even if they were thieves, they had a code of honor. Like if they didn't think you were about that life, and you had a future, they let you rock. They didn't try to take you down with them.
Yes. Wow.
Secondly, whenever I think of whiskey and bourbon, I think of those, and this goes back to that honor among thieves. I think of those places way back in the movies where, you had to knock on the door and they opened it through the little slit and you had to know somebody.
Oh, so you want a speakeasy, huh?
A speakeasy, yeah.
Uh-huh.
The smoky speakeasy.
Yes.
And if you brought somebody with you, you had to co-sign for that dude. So if that dude messed up, you and him was done, right? So that honor among thieves is kind of where Den of Thieves came from.
Gotcha.
To honor all the great things that are stolen moments, stolen kisses, stolen glances. How the thieves kept us safe throughout history. You had Robin Hood, you had all these criminal elements that were actually kind of the anti-heroes of the story.
Yes, gotcha.
So that's where the name came from.
And it's better than, let's say, having a den of nerds, correct?
Listen, nerds to the world. I'm a nerd, so I'll rock with it to the nerds.
I hear you, bro. Well,
I'm a nerd too, so we're gonna start a Den of Nerds brand.
What you got for them, Night Watchman?
I just told you I'm a nerd.
Me too.
Wow. Okay. Well, KP, I gotta ask. Okay. So knowing that they often say that a community like Harlem is inundated, of course, with churches and liquor stores. Okay. So finding, shelf space. How has that journey been?
It's really not too difficult, being that I've already been in the liquor industry as a sales rep.
Gotcha.
So I kind of just went back to all my old accounts, like, hey, Ryan, you still the manager? Remember me from because it gets you a foot in the door. Anyone that's worked in the sales industry, because I guess Jason can understand what I'm gonna say. The worst thing you can do is dry runs. Every sales rep hates dry runs. Dry runs, for people who might not understand, is basically just walking up in a spot like, hey, can I talk to your manager? And 9.5 out of 10 times, the manager will tell you the manager is not here. Right? So you'll have to go back and forth so many times to chase down the accounts. But in Harlem, once I tell them that I'm a Harlem native, they almost feel a level of obligation to take it. Most places they're already on board just because I'm from Harlem, and then once they taste it, of course, it locks it in. But it hasn't been difficult to get it into the liquor stores. It's more so difficult to get the larger accounts, like the hotels, the lounges, the restaurants.
Gotcha.
Things like that. I actually have most of my luck with bodegas.
Okay, beautiful.
The corner stores. The corner stores, they show you love because the liquor stores, the owner and the buyers at liquor stores are seldom there. They may come once a week. Gotcha. They don't work with the community. They don't know us. Half of them usually aren't, and this is to be respectful, half of them aren't even from this country, and they literally look at alcohol as just business for them. So they're not interested in getting to know us. The person that you know at the liquor store is your favorite person behind the register. You'll probably never get to know the actual owner. But with the bodegas, most of them in Harlem come from Yemen. Now, when they come here, right? They come and they're kind of what we call green. Green meaning, not suburban-y, but they're still wrapped up in their culture from where they came from. Before you know it, mostly every corner store in any hood, the Habibi, yo, what's good? Yo, what's up? They end up being like one of the people from the block. So those are actually, and I hate to say it like that, but those are actually the people that showed me the most love so far.
Beautiful,
has
beautiful.
been and that's weird to say. That's weird to say. But I think that's also due to the fact of that so little businesses are owned by minorities and blacks in Harlem anymore. It used to when I was younger, and I was a kid, even my mother would say back in the 70s, every store was run by black people. You know, all black
That's
people
right.
had businesses. You know, she was saying back in the day, it used to be my favorite penny candy store on 144th between 7th and Lenox, 7th and 8th, Mr. Willie. He had the best penny candy and sandwiches on the other side of the street of my elementary school. You don't see that anymore. Everybody that has a business in the community are mostly from another country.
That is true. That is true. So, Shay, you just heard KP.
Yeah.
So, do tell us in terms of what you've experienced in terms of getting the brand in stores, and let's say, and in let's say the hotels or the bars.
So the hardest thing for me actually is not that. The hardest thing for me, and Jason definitely can attest to this, it's a lot of regulatory administrative, it's a lot of brand management, a lot of marketing that you have to do, and you don't really understand the core resources that you need. So for me, it really was about lack of resources. I am a first generation entrepreneur.
God bless.
I don't have resources technically in the industry, in the spirits or beverage industry. I really was trying to create a transferable extension of my brand, but something that I could transfer. And so I'm strategically trying to map out what are the categories that my brand can be in that I know that is transferable. I'm in a history making business at a Harlem Haberdashery in the first family of fashion. I'm literally trying to do something that's never been done. The roadmap. I don't have the resources, but I have the desire.
Yes.
Sales are easy. You can get a salesperson, they can move it. But my whole thing is I'm trying to scale. I'm trying to last. I'm trying to build something that my daughter can live off of. So for me, it's about getting to understand the strategy of my brand. I mean, it's a premium product. It's 80 proof. It's package delivery. It's delivered beautifully in beautiful boxes. Like all of the branding is there. But for me, it's about access to capital and resources. Partners. Also, the spirit industry does not have a lot of brown people, and it has less brown females. So I didn't realize what an outlier I was as a Black female founder until I got into the industry, because I come from the place where I could do anything. So Black real for me, and so I probably didn't do as much research as I should have done, because I figure if I show up, it's so, this industry is so profitable, they have to give me a seat at the table. So you know what I'm trying to do is make Harlem Haberdashery and HH Bespoke Spirit a staple. And so really for me is now it's just about, you know, strategic planning. I actually love working with restaurant groups because it's easier. One conversation means multiple locations. I usually like to have conversations that lead to multiple opportunities. So everyone is always, as KB and Jason know, we're going after restaurant groups, but they're hard.
Wow.
Marketing dollars of these big companies, because everyone wants to know, well, what's your spend? Are you doing a buyout? And you can't do that as a small maker. Even though your mind have the ability to produce this premium product, you don't have the dollars or the network to be able to compete. So a lot of what I do is I try to stay in my lane and find a customer that loves my product, that values working with Black owned and female owned and founded companies, love our story, that respect our legacy. And I have people that love to buy a spirit, don't even drink, but they love the bottle. And
Nice.
So I'm always looking to partner, always looking for a strategic, you know, connection that's gonna be a multi-year, multi-event conversation. So please get at me if you are that type of strategic partner.
Beautiful. And Shay, not to put anybody on blast, but I did see you at an event, a 15-year anniversary. Do tell me that particular place is giving some love.
Well, you know, they used to buy very religiously. The hard to compete is, even when you go there, to get on the menu, it might cost a little bit of something. And in my marketing dollars is I cannot pay to be on the venue.
Mm.
Try to do is maybe try to have a cocktail hour where I can get, people in the venue and lips on cups and
Nice.
that's a bit hard when you're competing with people that can actually pay. Like I cannot.
Gotcha.
There was a wonderful opportunity at a local arena today, but I could not get my spirit in because 3 of my categories, rum, gin, and vodka, had already technically been purchased by someone else for exclusivity. So it's
wow.
a maker and get the visibility that you think you deserve if you don't have the dollar. So I tried to
just had that conversation with, I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, good.
Because I'm sitting here and I'm like, girl, I feel you.
Yeah.
Because I had this conversation with Curtis at a recent event, and I was telling him, the reason that most businesses don't survive is because the liquid capital is not there, and then they end up meeting these people and signing these deals out of desperation just to get the brand moving. That by the time the money does come in, you've already promised most of it out because you just were desperate to get moving because you don't have the liquid cash, right? So before I started a business, and I mean, this was maybe 10 years before I ever even started it, I started getting excited. Oh my goodness, Black funding and, small business funding. And it's just if you're a woman and just if you're Black, oh my goodness, there's money there. And then you get into the industry and it's like a poetry contest. It's almost like applying for a college scholarship. Who writes the best essay?
Yep.
Who has the best story? And you're like, wait a minute, I thought I qualified just because I was Black and I was a woman. I didn't know it was a competition. I mean, my goodness.
It's never enough.
You'll never get it. It's never enough. And then even to apply to be a minority woman-owned business, you had to be in business already for 2 years. They want to know how much you've made, what you're worth. And it's like, I just thought, I said I was Black and I was a woman and that was enough. No, I'm serious because, and then it almost pits the community against each other because it's almost like throwing out bird seeds, right? Everybody's scrummaging for them, but it's supposed to be enough for everybody. You said, why are we competing for who can get it and who can't? And it's just really unfortunate because I totally understand what she's saying, that it's been events that I've wanted to go to and they're like, oh, it's $15,000 for a sponsorship. And I'm like, $15,000, so I totally get that. I totally get that. And when she said that she didn't realize, like, I'm going to say something and I'm glad I'm in a safe place where I can say it.
Yes, you can.
I didn't realize that I was this Black until I started working in the alcohol industry. When you live in Harlem and your neighbor and everybody, your teacher, everybody is Black, you don't realize how Black you really are until you're removed from your environment, right? So I would go to some of these meetings and not only was it maybe just me and one other woman in the room, I was the only Black woman in that room. Most times than not. And I mean 9.5, 10 times out of 9. And then this industry is still very misogynistic to where you got a better chance of being a Black man and being able to sit at the table and inject yourself in a conversation than you are at being a woman of any color, because women still at a whole are not respected on a higher level. There's still a lot of cultures and religions that their wives can't talk.
Wow. Well,
KP. As a man.
So I want to hear you, Jason. Do tell.
Say that I honestly, right now at this point, and this is not to diminish your experience, I joke with my sister that she's gonna wake up one day and find her face on a whiskey bottle because being a Black woman in the industry, because Black women have been so marginalized, because there are not a lot of you, is actually can be an advantage. Like, I've been in these rooms and they're like, oh, well, we've seen people who look like you, meaning a Black male. So even if I am still a minority, they're like, oh, we're kind of used to you guys because of the rappers and the artists and all that other stuff. We're kind of used to seeing you guys' faces. So we want to give the Black women a turn, which don't get me wrong, they should. I'm not saying they should, but I don't get an advantage playing with the boys club because the boys club is a club that most of the time I'm not invited to, because I don't look like the boys in the club. That being said, when I came into this industry, I came in from the fitness and massage therapy industry. I had no experience in spirits outside of being behind the bar and a bartender. So I made a lot of mistakes. And it took me lucking up into finding somebody who, and I never forget this happened to me. When I first started, I was my own salesperson. And I would go out and and as they could tell you, what she said, a lot of cold calls. I got a lot of no's. People didn't even want to taste my product.
Wow.
Didn't even want to taste it. And then I was talking to my older brother and got the idea to hire this nice, charming, good-looking white boy musician. He walked into the same stores I walked in and got the sale.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just the same exact stores. So being a male in this industry gave me, to be honest, no advantages. There's opportunity out there, but it really is a pay-to-play system. If you don't have the capital, you can't crack these hospitality groups. That I was doing an event at the hotel is going to remain nameless. Got an opportunity. They were like, well, we can't put you on the menu because we have these brands we have relationships with.
Wow.
I was like, okay, just out of morbid curiosity, how much? She wouldn't even tell me what it cost to compete. She's like, don't worry about it. You can't do it. I was like, can you just let me know the number? And she was like, nah, so I would have to go in and give them product and then do $150, $200 bar spin. And that may not sound like a lot, but as a small brand, to give product and do a bar spin and then have to staff the event, you're looking at $500 a night for a one bottle placement. It's just not good. For a one bottle giveaway.
Wow.
So it can be pretty frustrating to be in these rooms and just know the only reason why your brand is successful because you can have the juice, you can have the packaging. People love everything when they're drinking it for free.
No, it's true.
It's facts.
It's delicious when it's for free. But to know that it's not successful because you don't have the deep enough pockets to pay for the placement can be a really frustrating and what's the word I'm looking for? Like demoralizing thing. And these grants that people tell you about, I joke around saying, I literally am a Den of Thieves because I robbed Peter to pay Paul. I work a day job and a night job, and have a lot of my funds goes towards supporting my business. And you have to have a love and a belief in yourself that borders on irrational confidence.
Wow.
Delusional.
That borders on delusional. Because if you don't, you are not gonna make it in here. You're not.
And you can't ask other people, because when you start asking for opinions, it'll be somebody there to talk you off the ledge every time. This is why when I do stuff, I just go and just do it. And I know it doesn't seem like it makes sense in the beginning. And no means that I want to take anything away by saying that you can join the boys club, because being black in general, and being black in general is, and they could also look at it on the flip way, because we know that unfortunately black men are feared. So you can come off overly alpha, overly aggressive, just because, and you're the sweetest, most domiciled person. So
Jason is a gentle giant. Come on, now, really?
I'm a big guy. I would show up places and they'd be like, "Is he gonna rob us? Is he gonna like?"
That's what I'm saying.
Oh my God. Okay, no.
Yeah. Well, all right. So let me ask you guys something. So, all right. So you guys are all.
I can't hear you, Bob. Night watchman.
You cannot hear me? Can you hear me now?
So have Curtis translate.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So let's leave it widescreen for the moment.
Okay.
And you translate. So the question is, you guys, your advantage is, number one, you're in the community. We're seeing a desire for black brands. Black people are showing that they want to support the black brands. And part of the issue is knowing about them. So, and this is why, one of the things we have Audrey here is because Audrey has been very, very good at finding Black brands and creating showcases for them.
Yes.
So how do we take the advantages, which is number one, being a Black brand and knowing our community and our tastes, because you guys not just bring the taste, but you bring culture to it. So there's a way for you guys in, but your problem is how do we get to where you are now to actually scale? Because we know that any brand in liquor can scale to be $1 billion brand. How do we get your 3 brands to be $1 billion brands?
Okay.
So
go ahead, Sharene.
I'm always optimistic that I'm 1 or 2 introductions away from meeting a strong strategic partner that has the financial ability to help me, but also has the industry specific connections to help me. A lot of times when you just have money, you spend money crazy because you don't really know what you're doing. I don't want money. I want a strong strategic partner that can help. But that also means, am I talking about equities? It's an equity. Then how can I position myself as a Black-owned spirit company if knowing that I have to give away equity?
Yeah, right.
So it's the problem of I want to stay Black, but I can't stay Black if I want to scale. So what I'm trying to do is at least position my brand as a premium brand, get as much marketing and publicity as I can generate for myself. I do feel like putting myself in places where I get new impression and new eyes on my brand is going to be the key for me actually scaling to the level that I want to go to, because I'm doing well, but I can be doing so much better if I had a great strategic partner.
Okay, very good. KP, you want to comment on that too? No.
For me, I got kind of echo what she's saying as far as it's not the necessarily just the financial coin, but nowadays it's not even about newspapers or ads. Everything is, like she said, that it moment.
Yes.
That one moment that you meet that one celebrity that makes a TikTok video and you start trending overnight. No, seriously, because everything now is run through your phone and through social media. No one's paying for ads in magazines or billboards really anymore, because that's not where the attention is. The attention is in your phone. So for me, I think what would help me is to land a certain amount of large accounts that maybe like hotels and things like that. And I say that because those are places where people are coming from a lot of different places. So that also creates a higher possibility for exposure, because you can't, like she said, you can't get seen. You can't get purchases if you're not getting seen. But yeah, and to have a stronger, like a sales team. A stronger sales team, because I just think it's more so about boots to ground, but then that also reverts back to watering down your company. Like she said, I wanted to stay, I agree with mostly everything she said. I want my company to stay Black, and I've been able to maintain 100% ownership of my company now. But like she said, for the most part, to really scale, you're going to have to merge with someone, and they're not just going to want P&L or revenue share. They're going to want some type of promise for long-term equity, because most people aren't going to want to help you build your brand up, work with you for 3 years, and then on year 5, your company turns into a $50 million brand. Everyone's like this. You know, remember when? You know, nobody just. So it's different, and I think it's almost like sharks, like blood in the water, and it's like sharks, because I guess this is how rappers get into bad 360 deals, because you're fresh, everyone sees the potential, and you are almost in a place of desperation or in a place of your will and really wanting it to happen, that sometimes you don't make the best decisions for the company. So for me, I think what will help my brand is a stronger sales team. And like she said, that it factor, just that it just takes, we're all just one meeting, one handshake, one picture away from exponential growth.
Gotcha. Love that. And Jason, you've heard that in terms of the response to what the initial question was. So in terms of taking the brand and scaling it up to, let's say, $1 million, $1 billion business, what might your plan be?
I've always looked at Den of Thieves as trying to be a legacy brand. Kind of like you walk into every liquor store, every bar. You see um Jack Daniels, you see Captain Morgan's, you see these brands that are staples at every bar, restaurant. Even if no, I don't know when's the last time I have seen somebody drink Captain Morgan's, but everybody has it, right? That's one of the things I lean on. I think for me, it becomes about the correct strategic partnership. Like this is an industry where you have to. We already acknowledge it's pay to play, and you have to give to get. And I don't mind doing that. It's like getting into a marriage. You get into the right marriage, it can make things wonderful. You get into the wrong marriage, you're losing half your stuff. You know, or if you're lucky. So getting that right strategic partnership, and what I mean by that is a true partnership, because as KP said, like a lot of hip hop artists, they get into bad distribution deals. A bad distributor can tank your brand faster than anything else. Beyond, you can have the right
Ciroc.
promotional thing, but if a distributor isn't rocking with your brand, and it can tank your brand. So having that strong person who can, and this may be an unpopular opinion, walk into rooms and talk to people that I can't, because I understand that there are certain people still in this industry that won't talk to me, but they'll talk to somebody else.
Gotcha.
And
Now, Jason, that's very good, because I'm thinking in my head, I heard a night watchman mention something about Ciroc.
I want to talk. There's two high-profile
exactly.
situations, and I want to ask Audrey to comment on this.
Okay.
Because Audrey can not only talk to us about the brands, but she can also talk about the differences in consumption, say between the South and the North. But I want to first talk about the two high-profile situations. One was Diddy and his brand Ciroc, and when he started running into difficulties with him, we found out that he didn't own as much as we thought he did. And so I want to ask about that distributor, because they're still working with African American owned brands. Are they a helpful partner? Or are they a predator? I don't know. So Audrey, I wanted you to maybe talk a little bit about that scenario.
I don't know that answer to that question, but what I can say from my own observation of what I've noticed over the years, when you have a great idea, great brand, it's very important for you to understand the relationship that you're getting involved with your brand. Because in another case, I won't name the brand, but it was developed in someone's basement, and then it became a very popular brand in the clubs because they were basically just giving it away, and people loved it. Then a major distributor came in and took over, and then you almost didn't see it anymore. So it's almost like you get that partner, but then it's I don't know if it's to take you out of the competition or what, but then your brand gets kind of like placed on the back shelf and it's lost, and you don't really see too much about it. But what I was thinking about as we were talking is how do we create our own community of people that may be able to maybe put together a private syndicate to help launch some of these brands, because we all know people that have money, and sometimes if the right opportunity comes along with the right partnership, strong strategic partner, like Shay mentioned, it may be an opportunity for us to create our own way to package based on just people from the community that have money, that believe in the brands, and could maybe put 2 million, 3 million, 5 million together over a certain level of time to help the product move to the next level.
Okay.
I
it
love
seems like
that. I love that. There are all types of ways we can do that.
Yeah.
There's statements that you can do, which is, You don't have to pay the money back. It's a future equity.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that you did talk about was, I like to call it Black themed brands versus Black owned. I remember being in a meeting and they kept talking about one of the brands that you were mentioning. And I was like, it's Black themed, it's not Black owned. And that's very different. But so when we talk about the consumer, we have to talk about changing mindsets. If we all want to get sales as Black owned spirits, people have a long connection to like a Hennessy, or they come in asking specifically for beverages. And so most of the bartenders know that people have brand dedication. If we want to be players in the industry, I think that we also as consumers have to change our mindsets. That's about buying Black, drinking Black. We have to be able to try new things, and even may have a favorite, make new favorites. And so mindset changing. And I think as consumers, that's what I try to push people. Instead of buying from here, buy from here. Instead of buying this, buy this. And so, but that's hard. It's hard to get people to break their mindsets.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Bob, I'm sorry, Bob, can I answer your original question about Diddy and the brand?
Sure.
Okay, so while I'm not a part of their business contractually, what I do know from working with a lot of brand owners is that the celebrities don't own the brand, didn't create the brand. Ciroc was already sitting in a lab in Italy. Okay,
it was actually launched in a failing brand. It was a failing brand.
It was already out, and what they do is they go, "Oh my God, we have this recipe. Who can we hire to endorse it that would increase our sales?" So then they go find a celebrity. Now, if you're not that great of a celebrity, they'll give you something called a like a P&L or an influencer's contract, where it's like you just get a little PC or whatever. But if you're a big influencer like Diddy, yeah, they probably did have to offer him equity, and he already has the money, so he bought into it. Like, hey, I want to partner with you. This is the bomb. Like, let's do this together now. But as far as why it was so easy to remove him is because he was never there at inception. The brand, the alcohol itself doesn't even belong to the like Bel Air does not belong to Rick Ross at all.
Wow.
Bel Air belongs to some guy in Italy who had that stuff sitting in a bottle already and found the hip hop influencer that would get a whole bunch of Black people to buy it if they said buy it, even if it's nasty. And they offered them. I don't know, and I'm not saying Bel Air is nasty, but I'm trying to say is that
I hear you.
I'm going back to my point of what Shay said.
Yes.
People are easily influenced, and once they find something that they like or that everyone says is what's to be drinking right now, they're going to drink that. So Ciroc had like a whole 15-year stretch where it was just Ciroc.
Right.
You know, Rosé had their stretch. Then you had this double XL disgusting wine that's out, super sweet, but it's super strong. Yeah, but guess what? It's trending on TikTok, and all the kids and the influencers said drink it. So that's what's trending, right?
Wow.
Which is why I said that marketing is mostly everything is social media now, because this is all people, is in their phones all day. How often are people really reading? But this is why it was easy for them to get rid of Diddy when he caught that case, because there's clauses inside of everyone's contract, especially when you're doing big business, that says you have to keep a certain type of persona, a certain type of image up that corresponds with the brand. Rick Ross is another person who lost some deals. He lost some deals before this because he had a line in a song saying, "I put Molly oil in her champagne." She ain't even know it.
Wow.
The next day, his contracts dropped. You understand? So it's not that these people actually own the brand. It's that they have the money to do what we can't. We all have our individual brand. If we all had $100,000, or at least our company was already booming on some level, and we could find a old school artist or whatever that was worth something, that has at least 10 million followers, we could pay them as well to go and say, "Hey y'all, go drink PurFix, it's so good," and then all their followers will go and do it. But that again comes back around to the budgeting, and then how much are you willing to sacrifice and dilute your company for the sake of immediate sales?
But
that's why they were able to get rid of Diddy. He got locked up for something about sex trafficking and etc., and that was in his contract. Sorry, you're out by default.
Yeah. But
Wow.
That's why they got rid of him. But Ciroc is still on the stands, and those Italian guys are still eating off all the work he did. Still,
Gotcha.
He's actually
Jason, go.
He's actually a cautionary tale because, and this is probably partially why I am very careful about who's the face of my brand. Because the face of your brand may not be you, but it may be responsible for the downfall of your brand. Like KB said, Diddy never owned Ciroc. Ciroc was a failing brand that was already on the market that got pulled off, found Diddy, and repackaged. He made his money off a lot of the extensions, and then where he overreached was he went after Diageo because of DeLeon, because of what they rightfully doing, and all that went sideways. But choosing the right collaboration becomes extremely important, because you can have it, you can look at it all over entertainment. Look at the guy who played, again, nerd, the guy who played Kang for Marvel. He was set to be the next big thing. He caught a case, and then Marvel dropped him, Disney dropped him. He was a pariah in the industry. You know, Diddy. So you can look at these things and be like, the only person I can control is me, and it's my brand.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, like going back to what KP said, everything is digital now. So people are looking at me. They're looking for KP. They're looking for Shay. They want to know their story. They want to know why they should be emotionally invested in your product. Because right now, everything is about the emotional attachment and connection. You know, people have brand loyalty because they feel they know their brand. Hennessy drinkers grew up with Hennessy. I remember, do anybody remember Nouveau and Hypnotic?
Yay, I did.
Yes,
Right?
yes.
How many of us were in the club drinking Incredible Hulk and all that other stuff? Right? And we have fond emotional memories attached. Even if we're not drinking anymore, we're like, yeah, I remember the day I had one too many Incredible Hulks. It becomes about the story and the emotional attachment to the brand. So having the correct strategic partnership and being willing to put your story out there becomes really important in the success of your brand.
Gotcha. So I want to talk about, let's say, a brand. We certainly know it has a compelling story, because remember, there would not be a, let's say, Jack Daniels, right, without Uncle Nearest. So now in the latest iteration, in terms of what's happening, give me some thoughts in terms of, let's say, growing too fast and not watching your bottom line. Is that it, or something else? What are your thoughts, Shay?
I think the hardest thing to do is have so many customers that you can't fulfill your orders. This was always the problem, like in fashion, like back in the 90s at Magic. I never went to Magic, but I also can't produce 5 million goods that you have to fulfill. So I don't know if Uncle Nearest grew too fast and couldn't fulfill. It is an aged product. Some of them aged, and so if you don't have that liquid aging, you can't really fulfill. I don't know if the sales were beyond their forecast. I love growth, but controlled growth is what's needed.
Gotcha.
I don't know if the investors wanted their money faster than it was coming.
Shay, can you fill me in on what happened with that, with Fawn Weaver? What's going on with that? I'm out the loop.
Well, right now it's in receivership, and as far as I read, and pretty much she leveraged her product to get loans, and this is what I read, so don't quote me on it.
She said that out her own mouth. I follow her.
And then the product she leveraged for the loan, she sold. So she basically sold a collateral for the loans, which is kind of frowned upon in financial circles. She's saying that it was her CFO who did it, you know. And so it could be a matter of oversight. You know, as the owner, unfortunately, you have to know what every part of your company is doing, especially when you get to that level. You know, you can't blame the janitor for, something that's done. It's one of those things, heavy is the head that wears the crown. And when something doesn't happen for my company, they don't look at my salesperson. They don't look at my distributor.
They coming for you.
They be like,
Yep.
Den of Thieves, Jason fucked up. Oh, sorry.
Well-
Jason messed up. I told you it was
He
gonna
did
happen.
good so far, y'all. That was the first one. He did good.
All right.
He's out.
Okay.
She's out.
All right.
Okay. But
Jason, you owe us a bottle for that.
They come for the head. You messed up, not the distributor and send it. So you have to bear that responsibility. And
But I guess part of me is also wondering if she had been a male or a white male, would that been have something they internally could have fixed?
Absolutely, you know that.
yes.
It
was up to $1 billion. I mean, somebody had to stop her.
Right.
Lord.
In my mind, and like I said, I'm so glad. I'm sorry to cut you off, Shay, but I'm so glad I am in a room of brown folk, because I can be candid when I say they want to let you get a little something, but not too much, because then they feel like they don't have the control over you.
I got to knock you back just a bit. I got you. Well,
I didn't think they'd let you get a little bit. Like, I don't think, because you know what it is? I don't think that America is yet designed for a multitude of Black excellence. This is why they make the music like this, because they're trying to keep the next generation from being the thinkers and we're moving too fast. There's a group of us that's moving. We're moving, but I think that frightens the general.
Yes,
but
listen, for 1 second.
Okay.
Because Night Watchman, what are we upon?
Lightning round time.
All right, there you go. So now I want you guys to we're gonna go around. I want you guys to be concise, quick, and then we'll move on. And so there, I want to know what's next. I want you guys to tell us about what's next for your brand. Where's it going? Anything that we should look out this coming year? Do tell. We start out with you, KP. Go.
This year, you should look out for expansion, looking for me in every store, every lounge, every place you can be, being a household brand, and stay tuned for my 2 new flavors that will be here before next spring. PurFix is on the come up, guys.
No.
And
I want to hear.
And what's your website?
Well, I want to hear
my website is www.purfixrtd.com, where you can hit shop now and place your orders, and it will be delivered to your house. Or you can go check me out on Instagram as well at PurFix Cocktails, Instagram and TikTok.
Beautiful. But what are those flavors? Curious. Do tell.
My other flavors are going to be a vodka and a tequila cocktail. I can't tell you the flavor because they're all going to be specialty cocktails that you never had.
Ooh, okay. All right. Shay, you're up.
So HH Bespoke Spirits can be found on Instagram at HH Bespoke Spirit, no S, on Instagram and all social media. I am Shay S. Wood, SHAYSWOOD. Follow me in all my businesses. HH Bespoke Spirits is looking to expand accounts. We have a few new products that we're working on. It's going to come out. But also my general brand, we just started a podcast. So please follow us at HH Family Style, where we talk all things brand, entrepreneurship, Black excellence, Harlem community. It's not just about style. We all bring something different to the table. And so we'll be talking about HH Bespoke Spirit and our many other family brands on HH Family Style.
Excellent. Jason, Den of Thieves, what's going on?
Looking at expansion, looking at 2 new innovations and line extensions, probably a rye and something else I can't talk about because it's proprietary. So you can follow us at denofthieves.whiskey.com or denofthieves_whiskey on social media. A lot of lip to liquid events. We have a costume party coming up for Halloween. We have I'm actually going into the mental health field, so we're going to be doing some outreach for our community with sip in chats, just collections of talking about mental health among Black people and Black men. So look out for that. We are really looking for ways to give back to the community for the end of the year. And next year, we're hopefully entering into the diaspora and looking to export to our motherland, Africa. So those are some exciting stuff we have coming down the pipe.
Beautiful. And Miss Wealth, Audrey Wealth, what you got going on? Because certainly we know you are the event person of the year. Do tell.
Well, I am known for my events, but how I pay my bills is through wealth management. But in talking and listening to today, I'm thinking I'm probably going to look to host, and I got this from Shay, a Lips on Cups event, right? And I'm thinking I'm going to make it a ladies' Lips on Cups event.
Hold on, what about the guys?
You
See,
guys
this is what
can
I
come
mean. This
in
is what I mean.
after. We'll let you guys in after. But I'm
Wow.
thinking in terms of people that I know that have money, that may have an interest, that maybe Shay, maybe KP could meet someone, have a conversation. Once you're in the room, you do your own thing, you make your own, I'll introduce you. I can't promise anything is going to happen, but I'm just looking to create opportunities where people can get seen and heard and tasted.
Beautiful. I love it. Love it. So, Night Watchman, are you ready to take us home or what?
Yeah, it's time to take us home. So, Jason, get that bottle in the mail for us. You've been listening to Soul Lounge Primetime. Thank you for these guests. We
Yes.
appreciate all of you. Soul Lounge Primetime on WHCR 90.3 FM, the voice of Harlem. Also live streaming on YouTube and Facebook. You can find us on Monday evenings, 7 p.m. on the radio, 8 o'clock, live streaming on YouTube and Facebook. Thank you for what you guys are doing. We appreciate what you're bringing to the spirit. You bring the spirit to the spirit industry. So we're going to continue these conversations on how we can elevate Black spirits in the community. I've got some ideas, and we're going to share that offline. But we will continue to have this conversation. And of course, you guys will always be invited to the cookout.
Yeah. But no raisins in the potato salad. None.
You know that.
All right. Y'all, fantastic, y'all. Shay, love you. Pivot.